Well, hello, happy Tuesday evening. This is Leanne Furness. I am frazzled. Well, that's what I like to be anyway. My name is Leanne Furness, and you can find me at Gmail. You can email me. Tonight I want to show you a couple fun things you can do, and it's about the Stampin' Right markers. Right now, if you decide to join Stamping Up, and there's no obligation after you join, you can get some great Stamping Up markers pretty reasonably priced. So that's kind of cool, I think. And so it's only $99. You get this stamp set, which lends it. I have something similar tonight to use, and then you pick two color value, $91 value. You pick two color families of markers, and let me show what you can do. So I've done other videos with these Stampin' Right markers, and I'm going to link that video underneath this video when I complete this. And just to kind of give you a little refresher, here's a couple of the cards I made before. Like, this is a thumping, and so when you create this, you stamp it in light color and then you pounce your markers. Can't do that with your blends, the blend pens, which are the square images, because these are water soluble and they will not ruin your stamp. The blends that I just showed you will. And they're waterproof. I mean, they're watercolor. So this is another example. I believe I just took a black, colored on here with blues and greens, and then stamped that, and then same thing, just kind of made a background. So I'm going to link that video. But I wanted to talk about, and I didn't watch my video, but the Stampin' Right markers that are now available, they are still two tips. There's a fatter tip and a little tip. This is a bullet tip, and so it writes really nice. Before, the writing was kind of iffy if it would work. The brush tip you could try, and this is a rough try, because if you look in this in the celebration catalog, they say you can do calligraphy. Okay. I'm not, that is an amazing calligraphy right there. But I was trying it, so I thought, well, okay, let's try Enjoy, because how hard can that be? So it's soft up, fat down, soft up, fat down, soft up, fat down. I feel like I'm doing plays or something. I don't know. They make it look kind of easy, but you get kind of the gist. So feel free to, do that. I'm not going to describe that because that was not very pretty. Okay, so tonight I wanted to show you, through the powers of life, two fun things you can do. Now, on that same page, the back of the celebration catalog, where it has the joining offer, it shows you the a background that they created. I just had it. Here it is. And they traced dies that you have, or shapes that you have, and made a background. And then I thought, well, okay, so this is okay. I kind of goofed up on that, and I wanted to show you. I know I don't have a Stamparatus, so to speak, anymore. Makes me sad. But you can add, if you knew where your Make-A-Wish stamp was in this very messy craft room, you could try to redo that, or you can take your markers, if you remember what colors they were. I think that was Night of Navy, which, that's Misty Moonlight, so that's not Night of Navy. And then Wish is this Blackberry Bliss, and you can go over using what I just described. Skinny, fatter, and then you can tell people you did the calligraphy all by yourself. I know no one will believe me, but okay, so you get kind of the gist of how you can do that. So I thought, well, what happens if I take the same concept, put it on watercolor paper, and then spritz it and let it ooze out? I like that. I think that's pretty cool. And so then I thought I would stamp a quick greeting. And of course, I have, oh my gosh, I have so many things. Let me just double check that this text has nothing to do with this. It might. Okay, it doesn't. I found it. Okay, so we're going to try the Make-A-Wish again. This one is trying to come over here. And I'm going to show you how you ink on there. What you want to do is you want to use the side of your brush and color on, and I know this is misty. I don't really care what color it is, and I'm just going to go back and forth. I don't have the right kind of glasses on for this because I need a better view. Oh my gosh, that's so much better. And I'm going to do that, and it's going to dry on there, and that's okay. If you did this with your Stampin' Blends, the alcohol-based marker, you're going to be very sad because they're never going to come off your stamp. I mean, your stamps get stained, but that's just a lot. I did have one person one time trying to use the blends to color on a stamp, and I'm like, oh, I could hardly say anything. I was so panicking. So I'm going to do Make a Wish. So a wish is going to be Mossy Meadow. And then you're going to do the Huff technique. And what that means is you're just going to reactivate this ink by breathing hot, moist air on it. And then stamp. And it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. Now, I like it. What if I spritz it with some water from my little spritzing thing? Here it is. Get this out of the way. That's wet enough. And to do that, I'm going to bring in my silicone mat so I don't make a huge mess. So it'll make it look more like that's what I really wanted. So you can see how you can get some forgiving images. How I did this is I just took markers and then I spritzed that as well. So let me go ahead and move this out of our way, and I will post the finished card later. Okay, so then the other thing you can do with your Stampin' marker, so you color on your marker, on your ink. Whoop-de-doo, right? You already knew that maybe. But what if I take, I'm going to just clean this off, what if I take a piece of very vanilla cardstock, move that out of the way, and I'm going to take this flower, which is from an online exclusive now. It was in our winter catalog, and it's a carryover. It's called Love and Strength, and it has some really great sayings for people who are struggling with things. It's okay if all you do today was breathe, even when your brain tells you otherwise. It's okay. There is hope. So I think it has potential of doing some really fun things. I'm going to stamp the image. No, I'm not. I'm going to stamp the image with my markers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this Mossy Meadow and just color on the raised images. Now this is a stamp that is not solid, obviously. And you can do this with solid. I'm going to show you that in a second. And I guess Make-A-Wish was kind of a solid. Kind of a solid. Not particularly great at it, but okay. So then you're going to go ahead and then I'm going to add a color, and I think I'm going to add Blackberry Bliss if I can find him. Here he is again, using the brush side and just kind of adding a color. I was trying to stick when I was trying to prep this. I spent a lot of time Googling, which is like going down a rabbit hole. So I kind of lost track of time, so that explains quite a few things. Okay, so now I'm going to do that huffing thing again. And just kind of, I'm going to put it there. I don't know what I'm doing with this, but that is where I'm going to put it. Now, in addition to the aqua painters, which doesn't work on our regular paper very well because it starts to wear on the paper, so you don't want to repeatedly touch. But we have these wonderful things called blends. Blender pen. Okay, so how much more can it be confusing, right? These are blends. They're alcohol-based. Don't put them on your stamps. Use them to add highlights and watercolor. These are our Stampin' Right markers. Water-based, smear, and then the ink from this is that water-based. So then you can go ahead and just pull with this blend. It is a clear, oily substance, and it doesn't work with the alcohol-based. It just works with watercolor things. And you can add and just pull the ink, because remember I put ink on all the images that are raised. So that means that all the images that are raised have ink and not everything. Now, I know sometimes I do like this, the dabbing, to give it a little bit more of a realistic feel, especially with animals. And when you're done with it, you just like wipe it off on your scratch paper, and then you go to the next color. And so I'm just going to add that, and then just a soft green. Now, if you're doing this and you're like, oh, I want it to be a little darker, and you happen to have your markers by you because you just did this, you can add, with that bullet tip, a little bit more ink on those to kind of accentuate the vein of your leaf. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how that adds. One, it adds more ink to your palette of your leaf, and two, just add some character. Now, if I start doing this too much, it's gonna again start pulling and pilling the paper. So that's kind of a fun way to get some nice watercolor image without a lot of work. It's putsy, but it's not super hard. Not super hard at all. All right. What was another one? Oh, okay, so this is on the similar path, or the similar train of thought is, I just have to find it. That's not it. That's not it. Here it is, but it's not in there because it's on this really big block. I know I'm singing. I apologize. You don't want to hear me sing. Oh my goodness. If I was organized, it would even be hard to find. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to show you. This is the flower part from Spotlight on Nature. And I could do very similar to what I just did on regular vanilla or white cardstock and kind of blend it, which works really, really well. But if you had watercolor paper, which I thought I had way more, and I apparently need to order some this week. So I'm trying to kind of piecemeal this together. That's regular. And you know, when you think you have so much stuff and you don't really have it all, it makes you sad. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to do the bigger flower, just give you the idea what I'm trying to say. All right, so I'm going to do similar. I'm just going to add color to the raised images. And now again, I'm going to put this underneath here because I'm just going to do the one flower. And so I want it to look like I meant to do that. Okay. Then I'm going to use my Mossy Meadow, same colors, different stamp, and add the leaves. And you can kind of see how The technique is very similar. The outcome is going to be different because of how we're going to use this with water. Okay, so I want to get 2-for-1. I love 2-for-1s in college. Okay, that's a totally different thing. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to huff that and then stamp on watercolor paper, hold it, and then I'm going to spritz the watercolor paper. And then I'm going to do the opposite to give you a comparison. I'm going to spritz, oops, I'm going to spritz the stamp and stamp that on my watercolor paper, which gives it a totally different look. So here I did the same concept, only lots more water, and I think I like this version better. If this was a photopolymer and you could go back over it and stamp on it, that would be fantastic, but I don't trust myself without a photopolymer. Okay, so that's kind of cool. I will have finished projects on my website or my Facebook post. All right, so now what I wanted to show you was kind of something I just came up with 10 minutes ago, which will not surprise anyone that's watching this and knows me well, because you're going to say, well, of course you did. Why would you plan far ahead? I don't know. Why would I? Okay, I used, oh, and I didn't use my little thing. Shocking. So I wanted to use my mushrooms again, but give it a more realistic look. And so I grabbed crumb cake and pecan pie, basic gray, and smoky slate. Those are all neutrals as well. I also need, not this stamp, it's been right here, this one, and I'm going to color directly on this. So I'm going to go ahead and start with crumb cake, and I'm just going to, because that's the lighter of the two browns, and I'm just going to go all over this shroomy thing. And then I'm going to take my pecan pie and I'm going to color down here the darker part and maybe just a little edges, you know, because you want to kind of make it look more realistic. It's not going to be all one solid color. All right, so if you use it and you get other colors on your marker, just use like I just did, and use your scratch paper. Okay, so I already punched this out just because it's, again, photopolymer and I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp on there. Come on. The hard part is getting it off. And so you get this kind of a rustic kind of feel look, and then I'm just going to spritz it with a little bit of water. Not much, because I don't want it to be too washy. That's always the hard part, because this is such a particularly temperamental. And then for the stem, I'm trying to get my finished ones here. For the stem, I did similar, but different. Okay, let me grab it. Apparently my hands don't work after 8, so that's good. Oops. Oh no, sneak peek ruined. And then I'm going to go ahead and hope I can find, excuse me. I'm going to get some water. Find the stem stamp, which, you know, should be right here, but it isn't. Who cares? We're going to move on. Well, seriously. We're in the process of trying to book some flights for a trip that we're going on. I'm super excited about it, and it's not till July, so it's hard to get excited about something. But okay, well, I don't know where that little stem stamp went. That makes me very nervous. I'm like, where did it go? But you're going to do similar. What I did is I used the basic gray, and then the, found it, you just have to pick up stuff. Basic gray. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to do smoky slate on the whole stem, and then I'm going to go ahead and use basic gray just to edge it a little, and then I'm going to stamp on there. And now remember, this works great because one, they're photopolymer, and two, the images are actually bigger on the stamp than they are on the punch. So you're going to just kind of do the same thing and let it dry. And then after some time, I'm going to kind of zoom in a little bit. I think there's a way to manually do that, but I don't really know. Oh my goodness. There's a way to do it but not wreck your whole life. I'll just bring it up there. This is going to be, this is kind of a cool look, I think. This is Flirty Flamingo, and this is the same color combo I just did. And then I have the stems, and I'm just using glue dots just to get so it's not falling off. Ah! All right. And that. And then you can see, I hope, how more realistic they are. And I really kind of liked, I saw a lot of different toadstool things going on in the world, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I have these. You could also, if you wanted to, like this one's a little harder to see the circles, so you could get all artsy fartsy if you like. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's handmade. If you like that. If not, then don't do it. I don't know if I like it or not. Alright, so I will link the rest of the video, more of the videos about how you make backgrounds and stuff, but it's worth considering. If you have a wish list that's larger than $99 and you think you can figure out $135 plus 2 marker sets, or you can do $155 worth of product for $99, no shipping. And there's no obligation. So let me know if you're interested in hearing more about that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.